For today's headlines, Duterte cuts short ASEAN meet to attend to typhoon victims. Rich countries slammed for worsening climate change. Philippines strike balance on WPS issues. COVID vaccines available early 2021. Ginebra enjoys twice to beat Edge over TNT. Janine wins Gawad Urian Best Actress Award. Castriciones calls for end to land conversion. Ulysses exiting Philippine area of responsibility. Good morning, I am Sandy Locos and you're watching Tribune News on Q. Today is Friday, November 13, and now the news. President Rodrigo Duterte on Thursday assured immediate aid to the victims of Typhoon Ulysses, saying that the government will not leave anybody behind. Duterte guaranteed the government will give priority to the well-being and safety of Filipinos still reeling from the impact of typhoons Quinta and Rolly. The president shortened his attendance in the opening ceremonies of the 37th ASEAN Summit to focus on disaster relief operations. He had undertaken an aerial inspection of typhoon-affected areas with Senator Bongo. Over a dozen fatalities had been listed due to Ulysses, with at least 15 missing, according to unofficial tallies. Even cabinet officials attending the ASEAN Summit, except Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr., were told to leave the meeting and attend to relief efforts. Duterte brushed aside critics who once again tried to gain political mileage from the Twitter hashtag Nasaan ang Pangulong. Ghost said the president has ordered the mobilization of all assets of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Philippine Coast Guard, and Philippine National Police to aid in the rescue operations. Meantime, rich countries were taken to task by President Rodrigo Duterte on Thursday for failing to act to reduce the effects of climate change as seen from ever-strengthening typhoons like Rolly, Quinta, and Ulysses that hit the Philippines one after the other. He said well-off countries blamed for having large carbon footprints cannot escape their moral responsibility for severe weather conditions now affecting the world. As the three typhoons hit the Philippines, the president called on member states of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations to combat the impact of weather shifts. During the virtual 37th ASEAN Summit, the president noted with concern that the recent typhoons left a trail of destruction on infrastructure and industries, which impeded the region's development agenda. Typhoon Ulysses, the 21st cyclone which hit the country, ravaged several provinces in Luzon and displaced thousands of Filipinos who are still reeling from the impact of typhoons Quinta and Rolly. The president zeroed in on developed countries, which he said should lead in deep and drastic cuts in carbon emissions, adding they should deliver on their commitment to invest in environment-friendly solutions. Last November 4, the United States bolted from the Paris Climate Agreement that set strict limits on emissions of greenhouse gases to keep global temperature increase well below 2 degrees Celsius and, if possible, below 1.5 degrees Celsius. The Philippines has struck a balance in the struggle for control of the West Philippine Sea among superpowers like China and claimant countries like itself. This, as the Duterte administration decided to delay the notice for termination of the Philippines Visiting Forces Agreement with the United States, while prodding the swift approval of the Code of Conduct supported by China. The U.S. government welcomed the extension of the suspension of the VFA abrogation for another 6 months, the U.S. Embassy announced on Thursday. In a statement, it vowed that both countries will continue to strengthen its partnership and bilateral ties, specifically on national security. On Wednesday, Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. confirmed the pronouncement as a directive by President Duterte on the grounds of seeking mutually beneficial agreements. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque floated the possible extension, but at the time claimed that Mr. Duterte was in no rush to make a decision. The VFA abrogation was initially suspended in June, which officials said was made over security reasons and political developments within the region, specifically on the disputed WPS. Tribune News on Go will be back after these reminders.
Fiber is the free and secure way to connect with friends and family, anywhere. Send messages and make phone and video calls for free. Download Viber now.
Magsha-shopping na lang ako!
Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Hello, can you get the following? One pink chair, bed sheets, the pink yung sofa, tapos slides, size 8, pajamas na blue. Oh, don't forget my...
Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Wait lang. Okay ba yan?
Anything at the SM store, ma'am.
Call to deliver. Call.
Kuya, pwede rin ba ako magpa-deliver sa ate ko sa Taguig, tapos sa friend ko sa Davao, tsaka sa... cancel ko sa Lipa? Okay ba yan?
Kahit saan po, pwede kami
Call
mag-deliver.
to deliver. Call. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver. Call. Hashtag 143SM. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Call na rin kayo.
Call to deliver.
The first anti-COVID vaccinations could be available in the European Union early next year, the bloc's health agency said Wednesday, as Russian developers reported initial test results showing their Sputnik V vaccine to be 92% effective. The Russian announcement came 2 days after pharma giant Pfizer and Germany's BioNTech said phase 3 results found their vaccine to be more than 90% effective, injecting hope into the battle against the virus in thrilling stock markets. Speaking to AFP, Andrea Amon, the director of the Stockholm-based European Centre Disease Prevention and Control, said a vaccination program could be kicked off optimistically in the first quarter next year, but it can't be more precise. European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde warned that even with the vaccine, the recovery may not be linear, but rather unsteady, stop-start, and contingent on the pace of vaccine rollout. Speaking to a virtual forum on central banking, she added that we could still face recurring cycles of accelerating viral spread and tightening restrictions until widespread immunity is achieved. The virus has claimed at least 1,275,113 lives worldwide, according to an AFP tally, with more than 51 million cases registered across the globe. In sports, it's going to be a dogfight as Barangay Ginebra collides with Rain or Shine, armed with a twice-to-beat advantage in the quarterfinals of the PBA Philippine Cup Friday at the Angeles University Foundation Arena, powered by Smart 5G here. Action fires off at 6:45 p.m. with the Kings tipped to go all out in a bid to advance to the best-of-5 semifinals of the special conference that is being played inside the quarantine bubble. Also looking to make it to the semis is San Miguel Beer, which tangles with Meralco in the other quarter-final pairing at 4 p.m. After finishing the eliminations with the league-leading 8-3 card, the Kings were rewarded with a quarter-final bonus against 8th seed Elasta Painters. 2nd seed Phoenix Super LPG meanwhile will battle number 7 Magnolia, while 3rd seed TNT Tropang Giga collides with number 6 Alaska to round up the quarter-final pairings. Janine Gutierrez couldn't believe she won Best Actress at the 43rd Gawad Urian, that was streamed online on November 10. The 31-year-old GMA talent bested Catherine Bernardo, Nadine Lustre, Alessandra De Rose, and Andy Eigenman, Bella Padilla, Jean Garcia, Anita Linda, Sue Prado, Max Eigenman, Ruby Ruiz, and Angie Ferro. It was Janine's second win for Bala at Baril, for which she was chosen Outstanding Indie Film Actress at the second Laguna Excellence Awards. More women winners included Carla Pulido, director of Talk Wi-Fi, Cindy Velasquez, who's part of the team of Jueves Jueves. After the announcement of winners, fans of a few stars gripe about the results. We will be back. Stay with us.
This is a very important story. The important story.
Pictures and stories.
Today, we feel the weight of history on our shoulders. The way we have been moving leads nowhere. We need to change course.
Since the United Nations was founded, the human race has never had to face a set of challenges like we do right now. But together, we can overcome them.
Agrarian Reform Secretary John Castriciones has called on lawmakers to prioritize the passage of a law which seeks to put an end for the conversion of agricultural lands for residential, commercial, industrial, and non-agricultural purposes by wealthy businessmen and real estate developers to ensure the preservation of dwindling farmlands. In an interview during the Daily Tribune's Straight Talk program, Castriciones stressed that for as long as there is a law with circumventable provisions allowing the conversion of agricultural lands, it would be very difficult for them to stop land conversion schemes. This would only be addressed with the new legislation, which could help ensure the rights and security of tenure of Filipino farmers, which would translate to a higher yield of food for the people. The DAR chief said that for as long as there is a law allowing conversion, then it would be difficult in the Department for Agrarian Reform to make a balancing act on these two contending positions. But what the law provides is that conversion is allowed, and if any applicant for that matter would be able to satisfy all the requirements, then there is no option because in our part, we are compelled to do so, Castriciones explained. Weather Bureau Pag-asa on Thursday evening lifted all tropical cyclone signals in the Philippines as Typhoon Ulysses moved westward to exit the country's territory on Friday morning. Nonetheless, Pag-asa said in its 11 p.m. bulletin that Ulysses and the northeast monsoon will still bring gusty conditions over Batanes, Babuyan Islands, Cordillera Administrative Region, Ilocos Region, Zambales, Bataan, and northern Occidental Mindoro, including Lubang Island. Ulysses was located at 300 kilometers west of Iba, Zambales, with maximum sustained winds of 120 kilometers per hour near the center and gustiness of up to 135 kilometers per hour. The typhoon is likely to maintain its strength for the next 24 hours and then weaken into a severe tropical storm in the next 36 to 48 hours. Until noontime on Friday, moderate to heavy with at times intense rains may prevail over Batanes, Babuyan Islands, northern and eastern portions of mainland Cagayan, eastern portion of Isabela, and northern and central portions of Aurora, Quirino, and Apayao. That wraps up the stories this morning. Catch the latest news on our website tribune.net.ph and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. The Daily Tribune is one with the nation in facing the COVID-19 crisis And in line with this, the Daily Tribune Digital Edition and Press Reader is now available for free online. You can also download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store or Google Play to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune is also inviting everyone to join its community Viber Kachibu to get updates on the freshest and hottest news and entertainment stories of the day. Toysito emoticons are also available on our community Viber. Just visit the sticker store and search for Kachibu Community. And before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store for our wardrobe. Again, this is Sunday Locos and you're watching Tribune News on Cue. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good morning and have a nice day.
Click, click, that's it. Never thought self-service can be this slick. Modify plans in a snap, walang hirap. It's a wrap, just tap the app. Now you can check, view, subscribe, renew. Help and support for you. Out with the ring apps are the in thing. You know what to do. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Self-service and easy to use. Mas okay tayo dyan. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Instant response, no hold time pa, wala nang hintayan. Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan. Download the Globe One and Globe at Home apps from Google Play Store and Apple App Store now. Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
Good morning, sir. How may I help you?
Bakit kailangan ko pang pumunta sa bangko?
Kung nga naman, sir, ba't kailangan pang pumunta sa bangko?
Why not get a UB app so you can do all these without going to the bank? Bank the way you live. Union Bank.
Ang Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators o POGO ay isang legitimate business entity na nagbibigay serbisyo sa offshore gaming para lamang sa mga manlalarong nasa abroad sa pamamagitan ng internet. Ang mga serbisyong handog nito ay katulad ng casino games at sports betting na pwedeng laruin kahit wala sa casino. Sa Pilipinas, walang POGO operators. Tanging POGO service providers lamang dahil nagaganap ang mga laro sa labas ng bansa.
Araneta City, home to the country's first indoor shopping mall, the world's original Thrilla, and the first ever Bini Bini pageant. Now a place for your first win, your first catch, your first home, your first big break, your first date, and even your first love. Araneta City, the city of firsts.
Bilang bagong mag-asawa, sabay kami natututo sa buhay.
Sabay rin namin inaaral ng mga bayarin sa bahay.
Kahit kami, nagtaka sa biglang laki ng electricity bill namin. Huwag pong mangambang maputulan. Sinisigurado ng Meralco na walang disconnection hanggang September.
Estimated bills lang ang natanggap natin ng March, April at para sa ilan, May. Dahil sa lockdown, isang tabi to para hindi na maguluhan.
Ang May o June ay actual meter reading na. Kung May nagka-actual reading, ibabawas dito ang huling reading bago mag-ECQ. Yan lang po ang ating babayaran hanggang 3 buwang konsumo.
Kung estimated reading sa May at June nagka-actual reading, ibabawas din dito ang huling reading bago mag-ECQ. Yan lang po ang ating babayaran. Hanggang 4 na buwang konsumo, walang labis. Tandaan, Kung ano lang na konsumo,
Yun lang ang babayaran.
ako po si Mateo G.
At ako naman po si Sarah G.
G?
G!